You think my 18-year-old daughter's gonna put it in an envelope and go? Are you talking about a goal, like tuck it away?
No, envelope stuffing. It's a thing.
Oh, you talking about passive income?
No, envelope stuffing. It's a thing. You don't know what envelope stuffing is?
No, explain what a fucking envelope turkey.
Let's start the episode and let's.
You want to do envelope? Oh, this is gonna be a good one because I fucking have no idea what you're talking about. Welcome everybody to Born Broke with Mike Hoferth, and today we're going to talk about envelope stuffing, which personally I have no idea what it is. Go ahead, Mike.
At least you're honest. I love it. Envelope stuffing. So, George, the reason why I chose envelope stuffing today is because I read an article recently that Gen Zers, of all people, are starting to revert back to envelope stuffing.
Okay.
Which means they're reverting back, and it's kind of shocking, to spending old means through cash. So all this electronic stuff that's been developing and all this stuff, it appears as though people are reverting back to cash. And you know why? They're reverting back to cash because it helps them budget. It helps them with their budget.
It's a lot harder to spend cash, right?
Well, not only is it a lot harder, but it's a lot easier to see what you're doing.
Correct.
And this is something we talked about in budgeting and not knowing all the automated stuff you might have set up and forgot about, right?
Yes.
So this is why I wanted to talk about this, because I thought that this was a compelling article, and it was really shocking to me because Gen Zers are going back to cash when you have crypto and NFTs and all this other electronic stuff that's developing. Not to say that it's bad, but it makes complete sense to go back to the old school methodologies, right, of using cash. And why? Because ultimately, in its finest, easiest form, they say get envelopes based on what you spend, right? An envelope for shopping, an envelope for groceries, an envelope for car maintenance, an envelope for gas, whatever those sectors are. Get an envelope, write it on there, right? House expenses, boop, 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 boop. Car, boop, 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 right? Then when you get your money and you get your check, you pull out the money and you physically divide it into what your budget is, into the envelopes, and you know what the cash is. So you physically see when you're out of grocery money. You physically see when you're out of car maintenance money.
But what are you going to do if you're out of grocery money? Do you borrow it from the car
correct.
envelope?
But that's correct. That's exactly what happens.
And then default on your car loan?
No, but you have to then manage that money, and you can see if you're living beyond your means firsthand, which means you need to go get side hustles or find a different career that's going to pay you more money or not. So I thought this article was really Richter, dude. I really thought it was. Yeah.
Richter. For all you youngsters out there, they know what that means.
Yeah. Richter. Awesome.
Richter.
So envelope stuffing has become a trend that Gen Zers are doing, which I think more and more people. And when we're talking about some of our younger audience members that are watching our show, this is something that you can achieve. And the reason it resonated with me is because it's exactly what I did when I was a kid.
Really?
It was. Because I didn't have the ability as a kid to just drive myself to the bank because I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
I didn't live in town. I lived on a farm. I couldn't get to the bank. I couldn't ride my bike.
You couldn't take the tractor down there? Or?
No, you couldn't do any of that. So ultimately what would happen is I would get cash. I'd get cash for birthdays. I'd get cash for chores. I'd get cash for side hustle, side work. I'd get cash for all these things, and I would stuff it in envelopes, right? So
what'd you do in high school?
What's that?
What'd you do in high school for your side hustle?
We're not going to have to talk about that. I mean, those are farm jobs. Like I shoveled beans. I walked.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, those are just farm chores. Those are things that you do. So you want to know what shoveling beans is? You basically get up at the crack of dawn, right before the sun rises.
With the rooster going?
No, man, before that. It needs to be dark because ultimately when you see a barn, there's usually a grain, like silo or a grain department in the top, right? Where they keep all their grain. So ultimately the tractors drive underneath and there's a little hatch that they open up and fill the wagons when they're going to go to the grain elevator. They store it so then they can sell it when the prices go up, right? So not all farmers can do it. Most farmers have the ability to do somewhat of it. Big farmers can do it on big, but you have to be careful because it can't get moist and all these things. It has to stay dry or the quality of the grain goes down.
Yeah.
But anyway, you get up before the sun rises because you don't want to be up in the top of the barn because they don't have air conditioning. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't.
And
I'm from Florida. Everybody has air conditioning.
You climb up the ladder,
Sure.
and you jump into the grain, and underneath, which you can't see, they're pulling wagons or semis underneath that need to be full of grain to take it to go sell, right? So you have a grain shovel, and they open the hatch. They yell when they open the hatch, and you start shoveling, and it's a big siphon.
Yeah.
And then when the wagons are full or when the semi is full, they pull out, they shut the hatch, right? And you shovel all day, and you hope to get done before noon, before it gets super, super hot.
Yeah.
Because it's super, super dirty, it's super hot, and you do that all day.
How much money did you get for that?
I don't even remember, but I can tell you I got these guns right here.
You don't have.
Welcome to the gun show,
Put
baby.
those things away.
I know, dude. They're dangerous.
You get kicked off YouTube.
Look out, buddy. Look out.
No, see, you didn't even want to talk about that. And then I got you talking about, your old farm days, and your eyes lit up,
Well, you didn't want. I wasn't going to talk about it, but you wanted to know, and then they're probably thinking I'm trying to hide something, so I have to tell them.
No. I mean, you could go back to talking about this envelope stuffing.
Yeah, so I take my cash and I go put it in my envelope.
Yeah.
And then you know what I started doing? If you really want to know,
Sure. Please.
I started being a loan. I started being a loan shark to all my friends.
Oh, how much were you charging?
I don't know, but I don't think I was doing percentages at the time because I didn't really understand it. I'd do flat amounts, right? So what would happen is
Here's $20. You owe me 30.
No, I'd be reasonable. I'd be like, here's $20. Give me 5 extra, 25.
Yeah.
But no, I literally would.
Yeah.
So like my friends would want like a new stereo in their in their car or truck, right? Well, a new stereo is pretty expensive. $300, $200, whatever it was. They wouldn't have the cash, so I'd loan them the cash, and then I'd get a little bit back on top of that. So if I gave them $200, I'd maybe get $220 back. You know what I mean, or $240 or whatever.
Loan shark.
Yeah, I was loan sharking at 14, bro. 14, 15, 16.
That's so cool.
Like they would be like, oh, I want some subwoofers, or I need an amp, or I need this, or I need that, or I wanted this leather jacket. So I'd go into my envelope. I'd write it on. I'd take my envelope and I'd write it. I'd say who the loan was to. Tommy, $200. I'd put the date on it, right, and then our agreed amount back, $220. And then I had it all right there, and then I was making money. Boop 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 boop.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was my first kind of go with money, I would say, on the small scale. I mean,
see, I didn't know that.
14, 15, 16, I couldn't really drive. I didn't have, I had a bank account, but I couldn't get there. And I didn't really understand what a bank account was doing other than I always heard, oh, you need to have a savings. Oh, you need to have a savings. I didn't understand all this stuff.
Yeah.
If I had this to listen to some dudes chat about things.
Shameless plug, but good plug.
No, I probably would have been taken to it. I'd have been like, oh, what do you want to do? Internet hacking? Like,
yeah.
Now you can do all kinds of stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some of these kids are probably making more money than us.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not you, but me.
I'm sure they're making more than me too.
Yeah.
I just stay up on these little hacks that they're doing.
Sure. I mean, talking about envelope stuffing.
No face
idea.
content. You know what no face content is?
Who?
No face content.
No.
I know. They're making a lot of money with no face content.
What are we talking about?
They're basically repurposing other content on YouTube channels, right? And they're faceless. They're not even a part of it.
Interesting.
They're making a ton of money. These kids know way more about all these avenues than we do. But the thing is, we're here to give you the basis so you don't spend all the money and look back and go, God, I really messed up. I should have invested it. Keep it, invest it. You know what I mean? You can only go so far depending on your hustle and your drive and your vision, right? If you're a 9-to-5er, again, there's nothing wrong with it, but you're not going to reach like these huge amounts of money that people make, right? In order to do that, you got to assume more risk. You can't have your cake and eat it too, right?
Yeah.
With risk comes reward.
But if people have just, I know a lot of people that have been in the corporate sector 9 to 5 and they make really good money, but you have to consistently be there to climb the ladder.
That's correct. You have to be there to climb the ladder. It's slower and it's steadier.
Yep.
And it's and a lot of times it's
a good path for some people, absolutely.
And it's more concrete. There's less risk with it. There's less risk with it. But when you're reading about the bangers that are billionaires, this, that, and the other, right? Those people are really putting it out there, right? So you hear about the success stories, but you don't hear about the trillions of people that failed, right? But you hear about the people that made it. Maybe that's inspiration,
Yeah.
And then you can go out and try it too. But it's more difficult than you could put on, right? And if you're somebody who likes your free time and you like your time and you could go try it, but it's a 24/7, 7 days a week type of thing. You're always on. You have to be. And then, if it tips over and you become one of those really mega successful stories that we read about, fantastic to you. And then your freedom, at a certain point, your freedom lines up. But, I think Biggie Smalls said it best: more money, more problems.
Yeah.
And that's
I miss
true.
that, dude.
That's true. That was good music back then.
Yeah.
But anyway, envelope stuffing, I think it's coming full circle. I think that
how efficient is that though?
It's very efficient. But
is there a way to do it that you're not?
But I'm not talking about people. I'm not talking about envelope stuffing for people that have experienced some success or are on a high salary. This isn't for them necessarily. You're not gonna go cash your $5,000 weekly check and then bring $5,000 and divvy it up in cash. Again, I'm talking about Gen Zers, people that have maybe part-time jobs or people that have entry-level jobs, right? That are still trying to pay off. They're trying to pay rent at their apartment and they've got their first job, and those are the people we're talking to right now. Envelope stuffing isn't for everybody, but I just thought it was interesting with Gen Zers, they're reverting back to cash to help them manage their money and their budget, right?
Yeah.
Because I think what's happening at the moment is there's been a lot of uncertainty with, say, stocks, right? In the stock market currently, right? The stocks in the stock market, it's really been a yo-yo and really had some drastic losses, right? And I think that you're looking at, the younger generations are looking down the barrel of real estate that's probably at a point where they think they're never. If I were young today, I'd be possibly really feeling defeated and having to overcome that, because you're looking at housing that is so expensive, right? And you have to. They're looking down school loans that are mega expensive. They're looking at housing that looks unobtainable. Yeah. They're looking at all these things, right? And then a stock market that is I'm going to say showing uncertainty as well, right?
Sure.
It's just a yo-yo. You can't figure it out. And I just think that they're going back to the old school methods of cash, because it's tangible right now. It's tangible. Yeah. It helps them visually see where they're at. Right.
Yeah.
And eventually they'll escape that, and they're not going to do it their whole lives. Right.
But it might be good training wheels to get some discipline.
It's a great foundation to get you started and really understanding where you're at. Without.
I agree.
It's just like we said before. It's really easy with all the automation that's out there to automate stuff and forget about all the things you automated. Yeah. $4.99 here, $7.99 there, $6.99 here. It all adds up, and before you know it, you've got all these things, and you're putting out $100.
Yeah.
So. Envelope stuffing, I just found it as an interesting article, and I thought I would want to share it, because this is a financial show. So
I appreciate that.
And other than that, I don't have much else on this topic at all.
Yeah.
Write in, subscribe. Subscriptions are free here. Just subscribe, push the subscribe button. We're not going to annoy you with stuff. We're just going to give you facts and
good content.
Real stuff, So
hopefully it's entertaining.
Yep.
Yep. Envelope stuffing and all kinds of other stuff.
Did you learn something here today, George?
I did. I learned what envelope stuffing is. Not that I'm going to do that, but I get the purpose of it, of being able to kind of borrow throughout the envelopes, and this is how much you have. I think it gives people a very concrete basement where they can't go any lower, and saying, hey, this is all you have, and if you go beyond, if you add another envelope and you're not able to fill it up with cash and pay for that certain item that you wanted to buy or whatever.
I think this is a good tactic for kids. I could see kids that get, a little bit of money for doing a chore here and there, or kids that get a little bit of money for birthdays and stuff. I could see starting kids on this early,
Then you'd have envelopes of maybe things that they want. If it's a vehicle, like I think that's what I'm going to do for my daughter actually, is just, we might not use envelopes. We might use like big boxes.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just trying to get away from your envelope idea.
Yeah, but it makes sense.
Something you just put it in there,
you could start. Look, I'm just making this up, but you had mentioned your daughter, right? And your daughter's
we're opening a savings account.
So. Yeah, but at the end of the day, your daughter's a really savvy person. I think she's probably smarter than both of us put together, to be honest. But
she actually, funny that you say that. She wants to come on this show.
We'll probably have her on this show.
And she I'm like, because she's super Not that she's shy, but I wouldn't think she would want to like do this and get in front. She's like, oh no, I want to go on Born Broke and I want to talk with Mike.
Oh, that's great.
And
I'd love to have her on.
And then we can just school her on all kinds of stuff like that.
I'd love to have her on, but I'm thinking like using her as an example, right?
Yeah.
You said a car, but you could do a car and a college fund, and she could see how it's outweighing each other. Like,
Right.
is she putting more toward the car or more toward the college? Like,
Yeah.
what's important to her,
Yeah.
right? And the thing that's fun about that is you see the growth.
Totally.
Right, you can physically see it, and you can go in on occasion because you would do
Almost
that with
two
a budget.
savings accounts, right? Like
Yeah.
I told her I would match whatever she puts in,
even better.
And she also she started
take
a
you to the
dog walking,
cleaners.
but I know she will. She actually charges me interest when I because she always has cash for some reason.
I love it.
Yeah, and so
That's
you know,
what
and
I'm
again,
talking
she's
about.
kind of like you. She's
I
not
love
going, "Oh, I'm charging you 12% on this $100, Dad." No, it's like, here's $20, $40, and she's like, "Well, what do you want anything back?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna loan you 40, and I want like 50 back, but it has to be given back to be by the end of the week." I'm like,
That's my girl right there.
Like, what is she
Yes.
watching? Like some like
I love it.
I don't know what she's watching to talk like that.
Hey, you should be
Type of
proud because
show.
you know what? When you retire, she'll probably be taking care of you.
I hope so.
I love it.
Yeah, she's a cool kid.
Envelope stuffing.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe. It's free. We're giving you more stuff. Let's do it.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. That's Born Broke with Mike Hofarth. And this episode was Envelope Stuffing.